you definitely need to know your worth early. When you have people who are like investing in you, or you're doing a partnership with somebody, and you bring a lot of value to them, definitely always continue to just like ask like for different breakdowns, or just like always try to evaluate those breakdowns, and just like ask why those breakdowns are the way that they are. You know, like with us doing particular deals, there have been moments that we probably have like lost a lot of money because we were doing a particular deal, but continuing to just like
Welcome back to Beyond the Brand. Today we got something for the city. I'm sitting down with Robb and JB, co-founders of Function Philly, one of the most community-rooted, culture-forward forces shaping Philly nightlife and beyond. You might know that for the events, from the merch, or just from being tapped into the city, but today we're going beyond the product. We're talking story, strategy, vision, and what it really takes to move with purpose in the creative scene that's always shifting. Robb and JB, I appreciate y'all pulling up. First off, I want to say, how y'all feeling? How's the day going? How's the week? How's everything going with y'all?
Feeling great, man. Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for having us, bro. Allergies, not a good situation right now. But besides that, everything's good. Everything's good. It feels like spring, so that's good.
That's great. So before we go any further, if you all want to tell the audience about yourselves and what y'all do, individually.
So yeah, full time. I do like digital marketing, photography, website, obviously event activation, but kind of just a lot of different things. Wear a lot of different hats. Just freelance though, full time.
On my end, full time, I'm a graphic designer. I'm working for a local news station, doing the news, basically. Designing for them. I do a lot of freelance as well, photography on the side, and I also DJ.
You guys are both doing full-time work while running Function Philly right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's definitely tough to have. I was kind of just talking about this, like really, kind of having like not like 2 feet in is like really difficult to to just be able to continue to move forward like with the brand and be able to like push it to the heights that you want to while you're going back and forth. It is difficult, but I think we've been able to grow Function to an amazing point without being like fully invested in it. But that is the goal, at some point, to be fully be able to just like be able to pay our bills and be able to just do what we love most.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So I know. Before we go any further, I didn't even do that right. This is Robb and this is JB. so everybody knows who's speaking. So let's talk a little bit about the Function. So how did you all meet, and when did you guys decide like, hey, this is the idea that we have for the city?
So initially there were 5 members of Function. So it was myself, Robb, Sean, Donnie, and Ian. I went to school with Sean Murray. He's a photographer. He's based out of Los Angeles right now. And I feel like Sean was actually
Shout out to Sean. That's the guy.
Sean is actually like the person who merged everybody together. Sean is from Delaware. He was best friends with Ian. They moved down from Delaware to Philly together. I believe Ian was working with Donnie initially, and somehow they linked up just from them being together.
They're from Apple.
Yeah, they were working at Apple at the time. And you ended up, did you get introduced to Ian? Or Ian?
Yeah, Ian was definitely how I met everyone, through Ian. Yeah, he knew my homie Shamar. And Philly's small though. Philly's small.
It really is.
And it's somewhat easier to network. I feel like people are a little bit more authentic. You're either gonna like someone or not off break versus other cities. It's harder to get an angle, I feel like, in other cities.
So what made you guys say, all 5 of you, what made you say, hey, we want to start this idea known as the Function?
Just honestly, just from wanting to throw a party initially. We kind of just wanted to do something cool with our friends. It was kind of just a very simple start to it. There wasn't really a goal to it for it to get to the point that it is right now.
How I saw it too was kind of like, not to cut you off, go ahead.
No.
But I think in Philly especially, a lot of the parties are DJ operated. It's like the DJ is throwing the party. It's his or her name on it. And I thought we saw this as an opportunity to kind of be behind the scenes and kind of be invisible. So it wasn't like as political. It was kind of like, all right, let's just book a bunch of DJs so you don't have to choose and take away from another DJ. It's like, all right, you can catch 3 or 4 of the best in one night, and then we're invisible type of thing. You know what I mean? Obviously that's changed now, but
So the function was basically just a collection of DJs. That, Okay.
Yeah, and just to give you a time frame, that was around 2017, and at that time there wasn't really anything like that. Like before us, there was this event called Stunt Local that kind of had a brand around it, and I think that was a collective of different DJs and people that really just had like the scene like on lock at the time. That may have been around like 2014, 2013, even before then. Like that was really like
those were sick.
Like,
that the pizza.
Yeah,
pizza in there.
Pizza party.
That was a cool.
Shout out to those guys. And then basically after that, like I think it kind of like fizzled out, and there wasn't really anything like that at the time. DJs like Rob said were just activating on their own. And then we kind of came out with the function, and that was something that was, I guess, completely different. Like nobody had been really activating like that at the time, as far as we know, and we kind of just.
And the brand
just, like, took off with Storm. Yeah, we
the brand is on point.
Can you give a deeper understanding of what the function is to the audience?
So Function is basically a community networking event. It's honestly a hub for creatives and like-minded individuals to be in a specific creative hub space that's revolved around music. So there are different people from different backgrounds that are coming to this one particular network for the love of music. I think that's a connecting point between everybody, but it's always been, the goal to just have a safe space for people to come and network, dance, and just kind of like have a free space to kind of just like be. I think we've made a lot of there's been a lot of creative connections that's happened through Function. Like we didn't even know this like recently. We had saw shout out to Saeed and Andrew, All Cap Studio. They had actually met at Function, and we didn't even realize that until they put out a post recently saying that they met there, and that kind of like brought them together.
And now All Caps is a whole brand.
Going up.
Not to say that they started it, but their partnership together. That's how they met there. So that was also like just amazing to be able to see that us providing that space for creatives, brought more people together.
And you said that started in 2017.
Initially, we stopped for a year, and then we started to get pretty consistent once people started to say like, yo, you guys should just like do this again. And then afterwards we continued to do it, at the time I wasn't DJing at the time, so we would be booking different DJs to come in and just like provide sound for us, and we would continue to like switch up the format almost every single time.
And you guys have it at different locations in the city.
Yeah, we started off having it at this speakeasy called Yolana's, and we would have it there consistently. We were actually like known for having Function at Yolana's. Shout out to Yolana's for giving us our start. And honestly, after that, we had a Live Nation rep who came to the event. And after that, we started having it at the Fillmore full time, in the Foundry at the Fillmore.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
So we started having it there, just monthly, back to back. We went from there. So that was basically from like 2018 to 2019, and then we finally had one of our last events before the pandemic. We ended up stepping up from the Foundry to the TLA.
Oh, dope.
That was like our last event right before the
and then the pandemic hit.
The market
went back down. It's like you got to build it all back up again.
The pandemic was crazy.
And we're still pretty much in that process, man. Like the pandemic really changed a lot in terms of like nightlife in Philly, for sure. Like that, it was definitely I think a culture shock for everyone in terms of like going out and being social.
What was the event or moment that you helped shape where you thought we were really building something here with the Function?
I mean, there's a lot of core memories. I think just seeing the growth over a long period of time. Like a lot of it's deep. This industry is a grind first and foremost. It's draining not just financially, but also like energy wise. The scene is awesome, but at the same time, like it's hard to connect because sometimes it can be surface level as far as like you're partying, you're drinking, you're intoxicated, or you know what I mean? Like it could be off a business angle where, you know, sometimes you don't know where someone's true intentions are. But I mean, for us, it's just seeing the growth. Yolana's is DIY. I mean, I'm talking about like I'm mopping the basement. You know what I'm saying? Like Yolana's handing me a bucket. Like, yo, it's flooding in the basement.
Get it done yourself.
We gotta get it done. You know what I'm saying?
So you want to use the spot,
from that,
get it done.
From that to having, you know, a full team. You're on a walkie-talkie. Now you're handling security. And just seeing it over, so you kind of see the fruit of your labor. I think that's really. It's not just one moment. I say it's a combination of a bunch of moments. But you know, just creating a space where, you know, your homies are in there. You know, they're having fun. Like that, I think just it's similar to cooking where you put in that work, that labor in the kitchen, and then someone takes a bite of your food and they're smiling, they're having a great time. Like there's really no monetary value on that. Like that's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
Same thing at a party. You know what I mean? You look back, everyone's dancing, everyone's smiling, people are drinking. You're like, damn, like we really did this. Like we really put this together. Like this is awesome.
Yeah,
so,
people remember a great party. You know, people always remember a great party.
And that's those moments I think fuel the need to continue because, you know, money wise, you can't just focus on the monetary. Obviously, you need to factor that in because you need to sustain the business. But at the same time, those moments keeps you going versus like, you know what I mean? Because I mean, post pandemic. You know what I mean? We took L's. You know what I'm saying? Let's be real, we took L's. So I think if we didn't have those other moments to balance it out, we could have just stopped right there maybe. You know what I mean? Because as JB said, like we don't do this full time. So it's never been about bread. I'll get my money other ways. So
it's just fun. Like, you know, just trying to
it's
create
really
a community.
for the community. Yeah,
sure.
100%.
And I know you say you don't do it full time, but at the same time, you are still building.
We do.
You're still building something
We
bigger.
do.
Here. Like,
We just don't make a living off of it full time. But we think about this every day. That's the, you know, find that balance is tough.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit, like, I forgot that it wasn't even about Mona. How do you say it? Yolana's. So you talked a little bit about, you know, mopping up Yolana's and trying to get it ready for like a party or something like that. So early on, how did you guys split responsibilities like that? You know, you said you were 5 people. So when did it drop to just 2 of y'all? And then how did the 2 of y'all start saying like, this is what I'm gonna handle, and this is what I'm gonna handle?
It was pretty much all hands on deck.
Right.
Anywhere, like I've been in a position where I've been in a situation where I've been like putting like spackle on like Yolana's wall, like literally putting on like just trying to like if there was like a hole in the wall or something like that, like I've been in the basement just like doing like handiwork for her as well.
JB does everything. No, JB really the glue like since the beginning, and he does equipment stuff. Like I'm not good on the equipment, like getting set up with the sound and everything.
Sure.
So JB the glue, man. Always has been.
So like in terms of like splitting up the responsibilities, like there will be moments where I've been getting sound. At those early moments, there will be somebody who was like you know, like the DJ, for example, maybe bringing in sound. We'd have somebody who was like Sean was responsible for doing like the flyers and things like that. We had Ian working on like the finances for us. Ian actually was the person who got our LLC started, got us to a point that we were actually like a real company at the point. And Robb was also working on getting us connections. Robb has been doing like a lot of the sponsorship behind the scenes. And then after, on my end, I've been reaching out to the DJs, doing the bookings and things like that, and forming like the connections there. So we've been able to split it up really easily in terms of like, you know, people's like expertise and like, you know, kind of like passion points.
I understand.
And it was huge too, I'm gonna add, because we had different circles of friends too, which was awesome because it's in a way like, just in everything in general, there's that sweet spot between like overlap. There's just, you know, like there's this overlap between circles of friends and interests, and like that sweet spot that if you can find it, like that's what you gotta double down on. You know what I'm saying? That's what's not trendy. That's what's timeless. That's what's gonna lock people in for a long time. So
people gonna tell their friends.
So we found that sweet spot between our friend groups essentially, and like that's what kind of created the function when he talks about the creative scene. And it was like this mix of like kind of like hipsters, like hood youngins in there. Like it was cool to see that food industry people. It was, I think, something that was, you know, helped us a lot with the growth.
For sure,
you know what I mean?
For sure. I always say this to a lot of people, but like Function definitely would not be what it is without everybody who has came out or contributed to the excitement for sure. Like because our faces like weren't on it, although we were curating the event, Function is 1,000% a people-driven event for sure. Like it's really nothing without the community that that surrounds it.
Yeah.
So starting it up a little bit, you talked about how COVID was a big challenge for y'all, and you guys had to kind of derailed everything you were doing. So how did you pivot from that, and how did you continue to build the brand even during COVID? What was happening there?
We were doing a lot of, at the time, we were doing donations here and there. We also tried to kind of like DJ on, like at the time I was starting to DJ a little after that, a little before I started, like Function is the reason why I actually started DJing, just being able to like help set up the sound and asking DJs what they need in terms of equipment and things like that. I started to kind of like pick it up.
Be more submerged in it.
Be more submerged in it. So at that time, we were doing definitely some, we were donating to try to like keep our, there was a lot of things going on with George Floyd and things like that, and a lot of protests going on. So we tried to just like stay in the mix of like what was happening at that point in time. We did a few like live streams here and there. And then we had our first activation in 2021 at the Ad, and that was one of our biggest events actually. Like soon as like our first event at like, while the pandemic is somewhat still going on, like 2021, it still wasn't completely gone, but like it was a moment.
So everybody wants to be outside.
Yeah, everybody wants to be outside, and that kind of just like that honestly was one of our biggest events, just coming right out of the pandemic, and we slowly started to kind of trickle back after that.
So I hear a lot of this word activation a lot in the industry. So why do y'all choose to say activation instead of like a party or like something like that? Because I hear that a lot from like different DJs or like other sets. So I'm like, why do y'all say activations?
Because for us, I feel like it's more than just a party. I feel like when you start to bring it into a space of a brand, when it is an activation, you could be activating for a particular purpose as well. You know what I mean? Like if it's a theme or something like that, it starts to be revolved more around a purpose. So that's when I feel like it becomes more than just a party as well. It is an activation because you're actively trying to,
It alludes to the work you put in. Like it's a verb. You know what I'm saying? Like people think, oh, you just a lot of people think we're just promoters, but people don't understand like we're doing everything.
There's a lot.
We're
There's a lot that goes on.
We're working with sponsors. We're working on the deal with the venue. You know what I'm saying?
Like spackle the walls.
You gotta do that. You gotta read the tour.
You gotta mop.
You gotta figure out, everything. The flow of the party. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to move things around. Like, we're pretty involved. Like, this not
absolutely
saying you're a promoter is like you just have clout and you can bring people to the party. Our shit starts way before that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same
months
promotion
before that.
Yeah, being like a promoter.
People don't see that. So I think when they say activate, it's like because you got to put in a lot of work. You're really activating a space. You're making it your own. Yeah. And going back to the pandemic stuff, I would just want to touch on this too because it really redefined just this industry at large. I mean, 100%, because behaviorally, like people that, it's a cycle. Like, a lot of people, they're going out every weekend, like your weekend warriors, whatever, you're kind of trained, all right, I let loose on the weekends. That just stopped everything. So now it kind of made people look within kind of and be like, all right, do I really need to be spending bread on this? Like, maybe it's time to go out in nature more. People were tapping into hikes and things that weren't really social. So it kind of redefined like just the patterns of people and how they spend their money, which is another top, as far as Philly, like we got to raise the minimum wage. Like we're way behind with that shit. So when it goes to nightlife, how you gonna save up for a house when minimum wage $750? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. So when you look at DC, New York, Miami, places like this, yeah, they're popping bottles or doing all this every weekend because they have more disposable income.
Yeah,
so
like,
that's a real issue in Philly.
But that's so we could talk about that for a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's like, even though they have more disposable income over there, it's also way more expensive to live over there.
It's more expensive, but there's ways around that. People always figure out a way. You know what I mean? Regardless, if you're getting paid $750, which, you know, I would say some people that come to our events might be working a job like that, a retail situation, things like that. Now it's damn near impossible to come out. So we've been trying to offer free parties and work on sponsorships more. So sponsors hit us up. Like we have the analytics are there, the engagement's there. We pull our weight. But at the end of the day, we're really trying to pivot to free events. You know what I mean? Because people need to let loose, but people don't have the funds to be paying, you know, all this just to get in, and then on drinks, etc. And
$15 cocktail.
There go your whole check. There go half the check in one night. You know what I mean?
You touched on just like the difference between like New York and Philly as well. Like New York also just has just way more access to media, to different platforms. Like New York, in terms of nightlife, this is so much more going on as well. So I think just also the opportunities that New York has versus Philly just makes it a lot more easier for people in New York to just like find income as well, just because there's so New York has a spotlight over it. So, you know, a lot of people have like left Philly to go to New York just because, like, I think there are just more opportunities in that lane, in the nightlife lane as well.
I mean, it's also understandable too. It's like when you have more events like that going on in your city, you're not going to price gouge because it's like, I need people to show up. There's so many other options that people could show up to. I don't need to be charging like $20 for a cocktail. But because there's so many few bars in the city that people actually show up to, they're like, we kind of have a control over this. Like, we can charge whatever we want. And, you know,
well, that affects the budgets too, because the New York sponsorship budget probably triple what we get. So it's like, at the end of the day, we always pay DJs fair since the beginning. For sure. So that has to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to ask people to do stuff for free. So now the bottom line is, you know, there's no margins. So it's like, we got to figure out a way, you know, and going back to New York, it's so vast. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can all eat. And I feel like I always, you know, Philly is major city, but small town vibes, like as far as like this, like one borough of New York, I feel like, you know what I mean? So that's a whole nother conversation of how we don't take away from other DJs and how we don't eat ourselves a lot, you know, cannibalism like style, like it can get like that, especially on the big weekends.
There's a lot of gatekeeping in this city, bro.
That's everywhere, because people can, I feel like, succeed faster than others, and then you get kind of, not succeed, but like just the growth. The timeline of growth varies per person, and it's hard to not feel some type of way when you maybe put in 20, 30 years, and now some other person put in 2 and they're popping because they have a good IG reel or some shit.
So that's like, it's funny when you say that, because I don't want to bring it, we're going to sidetrack a little bit. Like something like that, it's like, I don't know if you guys saw like ASAP Ferg had just put out some art last week or two, and then when people, like, I was kind of shocked with the kind of comments he was getting about it, like, hey, this is trash, this is like, but I think people were just more hurt over the fact that because like he was able to get into the exhibit just because of who it was, not because it was like actually good. So you like kind of touch on that a little bit. It's like how, like,
and we see that with nepotism with actors, and that's a huge topic now.
So it's like, especially in this creative space, it's like, oh, like this person might not be a good DJ, and I don't think people are actually talking about it more, but because like your set looks cool, they have nice looking girls dancing around. Like, I mean, everybody thinks they popping, so it's like.
You want us to speak on that topic, or?
And
then I'll go after. But.
Well, I mean, in terms of like, you're talking about like DJs kind of like setting up an environment where like curating and things. You don't see the forward part of it. You just see the back of it. Exactly. I think in terms of your brand, like now being able to be a huge part of your success, for example, like just your social media presence, like being able to like have an impact on your success just has completely like changed the game now, for sure. Like just in terms of people being online and like having your social presence has become a like either you have it or you don't, you know, like
Yeah.
which is crazy because there are a lot of talented people who may not have that specific, may not have that specific like side to be able to like promote themselves on social media, or even just like know how to do it, or like just not getting the shine and
not comfortable with it.
Right, and I think for our platform as well, that's a place where we like if I've heard somebody out that I don't really know, like I'm still hitting them up just because like that is an opportunity for them to be able to like have some growth or be able to just get their name out there. Like it's like for us to be able to just have the name behind us, that's helped with not having to put on the top tier DJ, you know what I mean, that has the social presence and all that other stuff. We can bring somebody in who may not have that large background. It definitely helps to have like big DJs that have names, but we've been able to still be able to survive by putting on somebody who may not have, you know, the big backing behind them.
Yeah, and utilizing our platform, which is a huge part of what we want to do too. Is like, you know, get new names out there, share that with our following. But as far as like, I mean, my thing is I'm a huge advocate of just like always showing love. I put my best foot forward. Like I don't judge. It's not my place to judge. Like that's out of my control. So like, you know, when it comes to shit like this, it's like there's just so much. It's like invisible assets, right? Invisible capital. It's like it could be your aura, how you are as a person. That can get you a long way too. Like you don't see stuff like that behind the scenes. Like how you carry yourself, how you know, you treat people, how you treat the staff. It starts from like dapping up security, doing little things like that. That's gonna get you further along with venues and your venue relationship. So there's a lot of things where people just are so quick to judge, and you know, people who judge for me is like they're just insecure. You know what I'm saying? Like they're projecting their own shit onto other people. I don't do shit like that until we cross that path and something happens where it's like, all right, bet, like this is
who you are.
So now I'm not, you know, I'm not
hand.
sweet, but it's like I put my best foot forward. And you know, and that's how we try to, I feel like, keep things. Like that's why we've also succeeded a lot, because I feel like me and JB pretty relaxed, chill people. You know what I'm saying? Like just in general.
I think a lot of people just put so much time and effort into that social media. Like, that it becomes
it's a tool.
Like it becomes who they are.
Exactly.
It's like
it's a tool.
You're in the real world, yo. Like I think a lot of people have to understand that social media is fake. Like a lot of people.
It's only your wins. You're only sharing your wins, not the
I mean,
losses.
and a lot of people, don't share. Exactly, a lot of people don't share their losses, right? A lot of people only share their wins. So I think when more people start to realize that social media is fake, and it only depends on what you're actually doing in the real world. Like because even like I would say this, like I didn't really start really going like hard on social media in terms of like branding and marketing myself and all that till last year. And like I went on there, I was like, oh, there's like a whole different world of people that don't even know who we are. And I'm over here thinking like, dog, we're the biggest shop in the city. Like everybody knows who we are, but like, you go in there, it's like, who the fuck are you? I mean, so it's like,
but you tune all that out though.
Yeah, you just tune all
out.
out.
Keep doing you, and then really the universe kind of blesses you in surprising ways. Like, as soon as I tune out all that extra noise, like shit just starts
falling in. It just starts pouring in.
You start
just do your own thing.
Just happens.
Stop trying to post like how this other social media influencers posting. Just post.
Irrelevant.
It's irrelevant, bro. It's irrelevant. Just do what you gotta do.
Social media could definitely have a huge defect just on how people are just doing their own thing or performing. Like this international DJ had kind of commented on how DJs, for example, are setting up their camera, and normally they'll try to have people in the back dancing just because they believe that that's the thing that you should be doing to blow up. But that also, once they do that, they're normally going to a specific kind of music as well that'll get people kind of hype as well, and that's kind of just showing people that's the format that you got to do to get your reel to blow up on Instagram. But that also puts people on that specific genre, and that also is kind of like taking people away from the genre that they may have actually chosen to do or would have wanted to do naturally, which can, you know, kind of just disrupt.
It's distraction.
Everybody's just doing now. Everybody's just doing the same thing. The sounds are the same.
It reminds me of basketball. Like everyone just wants the viral moment or the look. Just like in basketball, everyone wants to be Steph. Everyone wants to shoot three. Everything getting dumbed down now, and I hate that, to be honest.
It's like once you get that viral moment, a lot of people think that they need to stick with that one thing that made them viral, but that's not the case.
Right.
That one thing that made you viral is bringing attention to your page. So keep making what you think you enjoy, so you don't get burnt out from making some other shit.
I mean, shit, we
what do you want to make?
I mean, shit, we hope you come to the event and don't even have your camera out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this shit is so fun that you know what I mean? Like, you did a post for dinner, and then your next post, oh man, I didn't post anything. I was all caught up in the night. Like, that's how it should be. Like, and that's where we're trying to get towards more, and we've done a lot of trial and error post-pandemic, and we're getting there. We're getting there, and it's about fine-tuning, trial and error. Like, at the end of the day, people only remember the wins anyways, so it's like, it doesn't matter. In 2 years, when we pop like how we need to, and everything aligns, that's what people remember. So we need to just spend time fine-tuning and figure out what works, especially in this landscape as far as Philadelphia.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the Philly nightlife. You know, how would you guys, what do you guys think about it? You know, how would you describe the current Philly nightlife scene, and you know, what has changed over the last
Josh
couple of years?
just posted about this shit too. It's like right on time.
Oh yeah,
I seen that, and I felt that. But
Yeah, I think in that particular post, he was particularly talking more about like Center City. Like, I think Center City is definitely in a point where there really isn't the in between for a creative to be able to go to and just experience something different. As far as Philly in general, I think Philly is actually pretty good. Like in that post. I wanted to actually like comment and just like say shout out to the tastemakers who are actually like providing a space for people to go to, because there are a lot of DJs, talented DJs out here who are providing spaces for people. So I will say I think Philly is awesome. I think we're doing really well for the resources that we actually have out in the city right now. There are a lot of people out here moving and making a space for people to come and have fun. The list could continue to go on. Like, I could really be talking all day, but there are like a bunch of people out here who are creating great spaces to be able to dance and have fun. So I think it's actually pretty good for what we have access to.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like innovation, you know, and like creating new experiences that don't feel repetitive. I think that's something that's, you know, that's always been factored in with Philadelphia, you know what I mean? So I think as I get older too, like me personally, things are changing as well. Like, I've already done my dirt, like I've already turned, did all that. So now it's like, all right, how do I put out an experience that's more aligned with me as a person? Feel me? And you see that a lot now, like certain DJs are more tapped into like nature and like more like healing type of vibes, and so their programming has pivoted towards that, right? So I'm that's something. And listen, we're always gonna do the functions, but that doesn't mean we don't pivot and do other experiences as well. And me, I'm always big on food. I've always been tapped in with food. I used to have an old clothing company called Modest. We did supper clubs, we did art, we did free food, we did food education. So, you know, when the time's right, the time is right, but it's also just tapping into yourself personally, and how does that, you don't want to be doing moves that the scene is forcing you to do. You feel me? Like, as any creative, you don't want to be, that's not a good job, that's not good. Like, you need to be looking within, and then you create that space if it's not there, and you do what you want to do. Basically, you don't want people dictating how fucking you move. I hate that. Like, that's not the way. No. Bad Jones. Yeah. Bad.
So what are some things that might frustrate you about Philly night scene, or you know?
I mean, I don't want to.
Or do you feel like
ain't gossiping?
Or do you feel like
roadblocks?
Roadblocks.
I
don't gossip on this podcast.
It's the sponsorships. Like, those types of resources need to emerge out the shadows more. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want the creative vibe, but then they don't hire creatives. You feel me? They I don't know, like, where the money is, it's like they're not really putting on, I feel like, grassroots, like real creatives in the city. It's like they find one person that becomes like a spokesperson, like a similar like NBA player. Like, they find that one person. I don't know, like, I think money needs to get dispersed more to help this, because this helps everything. Like, businesses, venues, food, like, makes people want to move to Philly more. So like, you know, those types of decisions need to be made. Grants, shit like that.
I think they invest more in the food scene.
Definitely, which is awesome. But you know,
for sure. I would say the venues make it definitely tough as well. There are some decent venues in the city, but you know, a lot of them are charging a pretty decent, like some places like we may try to, for example, do like a bar minimum or something like that, but a lot of venues also want their money right up front, which makes it hard for a lot of people to invest in that opportunity to be able to collaborate with a venue. Like there are a lot of places that really don't care about the artist, because a lot of venues could just pay a DJ $400 at the end of the night, and then, you know, for a 4-hour set to hold it down all night, they don't really have to, you know, like split costs like with the DJ, because they, especially in Center City, you know, like that is kind of like the format. Like if there is a place that's holding down that has a DJ coming there the whole night, they'll pay you $400, and they don't really have to network with the brand or, you know, like do a collaboration with somebody else, because on a Friday night they have people coming anyway. So what's
and then
the
they
point?
finesse promo too. Then you got the DJ promoting your spot, so you getting 400 and they done finesse promo, and like that's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't lead to growth. That's like really not. That's kind of messed up. You know what I'm saying? So
we also try to go beyond that as well. Like for like in terms of like us paying DJs, like we have less resources than a lot of these venues do, but on an hourly basis, we've paid people more than $100 an hour as well, and we don't even have the resources.
It's way more than that. Yeah, we pay people a lot of shit, but that doesn't change. You get what you put out, like, and that's the thing with us too. Like even from everyone, photographers, pay your people, man. Like one favor turned to a million favors. When does it end? It's like, come correct, get your bread right, and pay people what they deserve. I mean, it's just that simple.
We don't gotta look at each other crazy.
And then you build resentment, and it's just bad all around. Like, just move the money. Like, the money will come back to you. Like, it's an ecosystem. You know what I mean? Pay everyone. Tip your bartenders. Just simple things. Like Philly too is like, we spend money at the bar. Tip your bartenders. Like, just do normal shit. Do the right thing. I think that helps everyone, because if you tip your bartenders well, that helps the DJ. Now the DJ, they get paid more. So it's really like everything's connected. It's an ecosystem. So it starts from the bottom up type thing. You know what I mean? Be respectful. That's free. So before even spending bread, be respectful. Don't be rude at the bar. You know what I mean? Don't be groping on girl. If they're not into you, keep it moving. Like, you don't have game. You gotta leave. Leave. You know what I'm saying? It's like just normal shit. That's free. That's bare minimum. So just little things like that. that helps.
I think that goes back to the root of the problem, as in this space there really isn't a lot of money being circulated. So I think a lot of people are holding on as much as they can to their funds.
Which I get too. I get that.
And then because you have the bigger DJs that was like, all right, I'm gonna be at this spot every night. Like, I can't, you know, we can't have anybody else trying to take my spot here, basically.
Exactly.
JB, how do you build a vibe from a branding standpoint before somebody even walks through the door? Like, how do you want somebody to feel when they walk into a function party?
Outside of just like the overall branding, like that goes all the way down to like the music curation, like the first, like, but even like with the first DJ, when you're walking into the space, like what are they hearing or what are they experiencing when you walk in? Like, in terms of like curating like a sound, like that's definitely a huge that's definitely a huge component of how we want, you know, somebody to walk in and feel, and how the energy starts to climb as you start to go through, as you start to experience the event. From a visual standpoint, like the lighting has a lot to do with that as well. We try from a projection standpoint, depending on the space, we definitely try to go deeply into.
We done some crazy stuff though. Talk about the Halloween stuff too. Like, I mean, we built, because May, just before I met you, like, I mean, we put a whole art installation in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where my girlfriend Lydia was sourcing like old dolls, like from vintage antiques. So we put together a whole like haunted, like, feel like she painted on a mirror. So like we try to like create an experience that leaves an impression. Because like I hate, I don't know, and this is just me, and you know, I'm getting older and stuff too, so that's just, it is what it is. But I hate going to the same job. I'm like, man, this is the same shit that I went to like last month. It's like, I should just save my money. It's rare to find that you go somewhere like, wow, this was cool. Like, this is a lasting impression. Like, the last one I did was like a Resident Advisor like rave party like last month. I'm like, damn, this is cool. This feel like some UK, like this, this feels like a European vibe, like
Yeah.
here in Philly. So that was cool. But anyway, I don't know why.
Yeah,
We do a lot. That's what I'm getting. We do a lot over the top.
It definitely depends on the event in terms of how much we're invested into the overall vibe once you walk in. Normally, in terms of a flyer, like how I'll go about that is just really kind of connecting on what exactly it's about. Sometimes, like depending on if it's just a random thing or if it doesn't necessarily like revolve around a holiday, like I think I try to definitely focus on like the brand of function, and we've kind of built that just like straight from just like typography. Like we've never really had minimal. To. Yeah, it's definitely been very minimalistic. Just starting with typography, like making sure the typography is strong first. And then kind of like branching off like from there, like depending on the color palette or things like that. Just from a promotional standpoint, when it comes to the visual standpoint of like when you actually like walk into the space, there are like multiple factors that have to do with that, like just the different lighting, the sound that's going on at the particular time when you walk in. So all those different things.
I think we definitely. We utilize like analog, like film. Like we definitely, obviously not the first to do it, but we do like that aesthetic. We did the 3D camera situation like early on. That was I think that was integral like with our branding early on, especially with the 3D cameras.
And a lot of the stuff you guys did are just learning as you go.
For sure.
Learn as you go.
For sure, yeah.
For sure. And working with different artists, because, I shoot photos and all that, but at the same time, it might not be my place to take the photos at these events. Like, we need someone else to do that.
Can't do
we
everything.
work with some
for sure.
Gabe,
Absolutely.
Don, like Arthur. We worked with a bunch of Morgan, like, a lot of great talent. Again, it comes down like just share the wealth. Like, I could do that, but that's not, why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can pay, like, it's the ecosystem. Again, keep everyone happy. Like,
it's really hard. Like, there are so many artists that we want to work with as well, and I think working with different artists is a great way for us to be able to like continue to spread and grow the brand, because a lot of people that have been to a function have their own interpretation of what it is or what it looks like. So giving those people the opportunity to be able to express themselves with doing something creatively with the brand just continues to
adds their spin on it, basically. It levels it up
exactly.
Again. Yeah, no, that's a great point, JB. That's fire.
So JB helps pull the whole vision together in terms of the parties and everything like that, how it looks, how it feels. Rob, what are you doing to help the function in terms of the Philly scene and how you guys are perceived?
Yeah, I mean, as far as my role, a lot of it kind of lands on sponsorship, like behind the scenes stuff, working with the venues, figuring out a good deal, just going over numbers.
For sure. Robert's bought a lot of connections, like even with Philly Vintage Fleet, Rob has been bringing us into
Dakota,
a lot of different spaces. He gave us the opportunity to do the collaboration with Philly Vintage Fleet, which is bringing us into a lot of different spaces. Like, we haven't been able to really like tap into the fashion and clothing space, but now we're getting eyes in that space.
Yeah.
So.
Relationships really. For me, like, I went to Fox School of Business, whatever, Temple. Like, I hated that shit. But the one thing that I really was impactful for me was the networking component, and digging even deeper is like just being authentic, being myself. Because when I was in the business school, all these put on this suit, boo 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 boo, all pretend, imposter syndrome type situation.
It's all about who you know.
And at that time, I probably wouldn't do that now, but I was in there with Jordans, all types of shit, phones, like bringing like my own energy, and I realized this shit makes me stand out more, and people were listening to me more. So that's kind of, I'm not that loud now in those scenes, but I've realized the importance of relationships and like how that really is I mean, obviously, networking is everything. It's about who you know. It's about who you know. It's always been like that. We talked about nepotism earlier and all this shit. ASAP first, same. It's about who you know, and that's why I can't really knock it, because.
Look at LeBron James Jr. Yeah. But then look at Shador Sanders.
You got it.
It's
It is what it is. I mean, you gotta work.
you network the right way, you network the wrong way.
You gotta work within the system. Like people
Yeah,
are
you
just
gotta
bitter.
network within the
This is-
system.
you
Yeah,
can get mad or you can get smarter and figure it out.
Yeah, it's
I
a
mean,
balance. Yeah, there has to be a
it's really.
yeah. There's definitely has to be a way of like you can be that middle balance of being cocky and also humble at the same time.
Just confident.
Yeah,
You can be
yeah.
confident,
Yeah.
but be also humble because it's like off some zen, like
Yeah, like
no
you-
loss of ego. Like I'm everything but nothing at the same
Nothing
time. You
at the
could be
same
both.
time.
You
Exactly.
could be both because I know my worth, but also I'm not gonna like belittle no one.
Yeah.
If you feel me, like I know what I'm worth. Like because people be trying to sum me in my own shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck
That
is
always
this?
happens.
I don't give a fuck. Like that shit go in my pocket. Like
Don't matter if it happens
people
or
try
not.
to sum me all the time my own shit. I just hit them with a smile and walk away into the green room. Like,
Yeah,
fuck
like
you
it
talking
doesn't
about?
happen if you don't do it. It doesn't matter.
All the
Don't-
time.
Don't change what happens with me.
gotta-
Honestly,
Gotta be
That's how-
unbothered.
Yeah.
Like not too high, not too low.
Yeah.
High, just even kill. Like that's how you really gotta keep it. Like just
Even, yeah.
try to keep it even. Yeah.
So let's talk about your team. Like, what does the team look like now? Do y'all run lean, or do you guys contract a lot of people? Or,
We do contract a lot of people out. It kind of depends on like what we're working on. In terms of like the production of the party, we're definitely always bringing somebody in to help, whether it's a photographer or somebody who's doing film like video for us.
But it's really just me and JB though.
Yeah,
We get
but it
these.
is- but it is a lot of
the
us,
monthly
for sure.
meeting, bare minimum. But of course, we're always talking, constantly texting. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Because we did have 5. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
that's a team. This
Yeah,
is a
that's a
duo.
team,
This is
yeah.
y'all. You know what I mean? This is y'all like just me and him, like
Yeah.
and Jada. For real, like Jada over there,
Jada's
like
behind
that's
the camera.
that's really that's the team. Like we build out of the team,
Oh,
but
God.
like as far as like the day to day is just really just us.
and then how do you choose like who those like the best collaborators are for like in terms of even team members or even like who you guys are gonna even work with in terms of like a bar or anybody? Like how do you say this is a great fit for us and we're
Right.
trying to see pursue this fact.
Those decisions normally it really just depends on it really just depends on what our goal is for that particular month. Like for the bar, like for a choice of like where we're going to activate, it really all depends on what the goal is at the end of the day. Like if we want to do something outside, like what's the best place where we can really see our, I think in terms of the vibe that you're catching when you walk in, is definitely one of the most important things that we like to look at. Like what is the experience that the people are going to take in, like when they actually walk into the space. So we could definitely be very particular on those type of decisions in terms of where we are going to activate. But it's also, we also have challenges with that as well, because Philly isn't a huge space that has multiple venues and multiple outlets where we can actually collaborate with the space. So we actually have a lot of shortcomings on that end as well.
Yeah.
Like there aren't a lot of bars. A lot of bars are closing down. There aren't a lot of venues to be able to do.
There are,
in
but
general.
not for like an event. You know what I'm saying? It's a restaurant.
Exactly.
It's a restaurant.
Right.
So you don't
right,
want it to be
right.
awkward either.
Right.
You think about the
Right.
flow of the event, how long it takes for someone to get a drink,
Yeah.
how many bars they got. Like,
Yeah.
it
like,
matters. It
there are,
matters.
like,
And
Philly-
people talk
Philly
about
has-
that. Like it took me so long.
Oh,
to
that's a
get
huge,
drink.
that's a huge
yeah,
thing. And we
yeah,
always
for
ask,
sure, for
how was
sure.
it getting a drink? How were your
sure.
bartenders? Were they friendly? Staffing at event, and it might not even be the venue. It might be the security guard. They get, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the management is weird, or they said something not PC that we can't really co-sign. We can't do business with you. There's a lot of
Right.
factors,
Right.
but a lot of it's experimentation too.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
asking what do we know? A lot of times we don't know.
Yeah.
And now we gotta make a calculated risk of like, all right, we check these people out and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know. It's all theoretical until you do it, and then go back to the drawing board and kind of reevaluate things. So
Yeah. To actually also go back to like you were saying, like whether it's like people who we bring on as well, that can also be a challenge for us too, because
Yeah.
there are so many people that we may want to collaborate with as well. But when you're working on activating on a monthly basis, and sometimes not even a monthly basis, that timeline starts to spread out even further when we'll actually have the opportunity to collaborate with somebody who either is coming to us or somebody that we actually want to actually reach out to collaborate on. So that just that just expands the timeline of when
yeah.
we'll be able to actually be able to reach out to somebody to collaborate with from a growth perspective. Like, we want to work with this person. Also to somebody who's reaching out to us and saying, hey, I want to work with you guys. Like, when can we get something on the calendar? So
it's tough when it's
makes
also
it very difficult.
And if it's a collab with another Philly brand,
For sure.
right? Because that makes it more difficult, because being all the shit that we just spoke about, lack of resources, you know, lack of venues, small scene, like, it makes it even more difficult, you know? So, like, you know, like other cities looking to collab, that could be cool, right? Like, we just did something with Molly and Rhythms, and that was amazing. But that, you know, that's something that we talked about, because it's hard to collab when everyone's fighting for the same demo, the same crowd, the same weekend, the same date. So it gets difficult. Sometimes it's better to unite and create one big event, which is obviously why we do it sometimes.
For
But
For sure.
yeah, it's tough. It can get tough, but you know,
understandable.
pressure makes diamonds.
I know you guys spoke a little bit about looking for sponsorships to kind of host more free events and things like that. So it brings me to talk about funding. So how do you all go about, you know, funds, since it's just you two, and a lot of it seems to be mostly self-funded? So how do you think about, you know, how are you trying to scale without the funds while staying true to, you know, your culture as well?
It's definitely, normally when we're trying to, whether we're doing a booking or things like that, we basically just have a we try to just break down the budget of like what we want to invest in an event, or, you know, how we'll actually, you know, what will the end result like look like for us, you know, like what will the return look like for us? Like, just starting that off, we'll kind of have that conversation of, you know, what do we see this event looking like. Once we reach out to sponsors, that definitely is like can bring on a huge help for us. We have, like, you know, like a great relationship with Bacardi.
Shout out to Bacardi.
Like,
been holding
like
us down
Two
for a
Robbers
minute.
has like helped us out a lot as well.
They've been big.
The black owned.
Shout out to the Eagles, John. Like, they just got their stuff stocked in the Eagles stand.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
Love to see it.
now we're also trying to start, like, Rob is helping to help the brand with, like, expanding our sponsorship opportunities. Like, we did a sponsorship with the famous First Street Cookies for our Halloween event, and we're starting to, like, pivot in terms of, like, different spaces that we can actually provide sponsorships with. So just from that, like, and a lot of people also probably like feel as though, like, when we have like big events, like we're getting paid a lot, but we actually don't. Like, we
don't
have,
even touch the bread.
Entertainment doesn't. I feel
It
like
sits in the
entertainment is
pool.
tough.
We pool the money. We pool the money.
Everybody
and we
has to
roll
get
it.
paid before y'all get paid.
exactly.
You gotta pay the DJ, you gotta pay the venue.
Everybody else gets paid before us, and then there are multiple events that we have where we don't pay ourselves. It's just a pot that we have that we use to be able to continue to just like have the
Invest in
Keep
the
rolling
business or
it.
something.
Yeah.
we're just continuing to see investing in the business.
So what's something like y'all ever learned, like the hard way, when like you're talking about trying to, you know, pivot into different directions, you know, what made you reevaluate that, and how you do business? He's like, there was no money coming in. He's like, I think this shit out.
When you look at the nightlife industry,
Yeah, it's tough.
like, it's always changing, it's ever changing.
Yeah,
So
for
it's like a
real.
lot of that, you know, people are moving out of Philly. You know what I mean? At some points, like, New Yorkers might be coming in here. So then you have to factor in the nightlife scene, which can be tricky, because a lot of times you just gotta pop out. You gotta do the R&D. You gotta catch a vibe. You know, see the new spots, where they're going trending wise, like what they look like, what, you know, lounge, like that's, I feel like, more the vibe. Lounge, vinyl, records like that, you know, the record bar, you know, Tokyo vibe, like Brooklyn shit, like you see that more, right? But then those venues have less max cap, you know what I mean? Their drinks are more expensive. Like, now all these things have to get factored in. And then you look at your demo now, like, could be a younger crowd. Do they have money to be paying for $20 cocktails? Will that deter the crowd? So it really just depends. And then you look at your sponsors, right? Like, sometimes you don't want to tap into your sponsors for a particular event, right? Like, you want to limit your ask. Like, you don't want to keep bleeding that. Like, you got to be very strategic about when you ask for something and when you don't, you know what I'm saying? Or when you do something for free, you know what I mean? You hook it up. So It's a hard question to answer because it's ever changing.
Yeah,
It's
so,
really
yeah.
per situation. Yeah.
One thing that I could think of, like that I could say that we've learned that like you definitely need to know your worth early. When you have people who are like investing in you, or you're doing a partnership with somebody, and you bring a lot of value to them, definitely always continue to just like ask like for different breakdowns, or just like always try to evaluate those breakdowns, and just like ask why those breakdowns are the way that they are. You know, like with us doing particular deals, there have been moments that we probably have like lost a lot of money because we were doing a particular deal, but continuing to just like reevaluate and having more meetings with the people that you're working with is definitely something that you should.
And it seems like that's a big theme with a lot of people that I interview as well, is that everyone seems to always say like, know your worth. Like, you know, even if you're trying to get a certain business or work with somebody that you think perceive is bigger or that can help you brand, it doesn't matter. Know your worth.
Know your worth.
You have to go where your value. Always.
Yeah.
Just in life.
Yeah.
Friends.
Always continue
like, you know what I mean? That's just a rule of life. Like at the end of the day, that's what I want to say. It's a business, right? It's nothing personal, but like it needs to sustain financially. So sometimes when it comes to collabs too, it's like it's too many chefs in the kitchen. Right? There's too many photographers on the job. Like, it's like you have to sometimes cut back to grow further. You know what I'm saying? Because and opinions and stuff too. You know, it's not productive.
It's funny because I went to an event the other day and I was like, there's like 10 camera people here. I'm like, how they all getting paid? That was the first thing I was like,
they're not getting paid.
How they all getting paid?
They're not getting paid.
How are they gonna choose to get? You have the best picture. I was like,
sometimes they aren't getting paid,
Most of the time.
and you know. That could also be a tough situation as well, when you maybe bringing people in and you like haven't really discussed
that conversation with them.
Have that conversation.
Which is wild.
It's just like an invite. It's like, yo, come to my number. But you know I'm gonna pull up with my camera, so it's like,
for sure.
So why you really telling me to pull up? You know?
Not unprofessional. Unprofessional.
So let's talk about a little bit. I know you had talked about like the first couple years when you guys threw a party and you stopped a little bit. People came up to you like, yo, where's the next party gonna be? So like, you know, as the function is becoming more of a bigger brand and more of people's identity, that comes with pressure. How are y'all gonna handle that? You know, especially when people are like, yo, where's this next party? Like, I'll be itching for a party. Like,
to be honest with you, I can't say that there has been a lot of pressure from that standpoint. Like when people are like asking us to like do another event, like that just comes with excitement after that. Like that makes me like really motivated to like, all right, let's do it. Like what's the next thing that we're going to be able to do to be able to like, you know, just continue to like elevate the culture. I can't really speak on. I think pressure may come into like the fine details of like what is this overall, how is this actually gonna work. Like I think there's excitement to be able to activate that. I think the pressure comes in with the fine details of activating. Like I think pressure to us, like I've met pressure with trying to decide who's going to DJ the event first, and what they may think about, what they may think about their time slot when I tell them what their time slot is going to be. Like I've been met with those kind of pressures. So those, like, you know, that's just one thing. And also just is this actually going to turn out the way that we may have thought? Or, you know, is it going to turn out, or is it not going to turn out the way that we actually expected it to? Because sometimes we'll have expectations starting off, and then, you know, for example, somebody may tell us that they have to cancel or they can't do it. I think a lot of times there have been a lot of functions that we have had to go forward with that wasn't the overall, I guess, vision, yeah, like it wasn't the overall vision when we first started. Like I feel like it's even rare at times that we could say like our initial thought in terms of the vision of the event was the actual outcome at the end of the day. Like there's been a lot of moments where we've had to kind of like try to like regroup and like try to figure out how we can make work. And I think those moments where you have to kind of like shuffle things around are the moments where pressure starts to come in.
When has there been a moment like that? In terms of when has there been an event where he was like, oh, like this shit is not going. This is not good. Not a damn way that we
First of all,
envisioned it.
there's never, to me, it's like it's you either learn or you win. There's never any losses. Like I was gonna say, like the pressure comes after the event. How are you gonna take what you saw and level up from that? So financial loss wise, there's that. Attendance wise, there's that. Right, but then there's so many things that dictate that. The weather, we did the Rhythms event and it wasn't that well attended, but it was raining that day, and we had pushed it back 2 events before that because of weather again. So in those times, it's like that can look like a loss to someone who's maybe not really as experienced, I feel like. But when you do this for so long, everything you plan is not going to work out. It's about how you pivot and how you keep it professional and how you still, keep things solid in those times of like, volatile shit that is out of your control, like security stuff, people, just all types of stuff like that you have to handle. The fire alarm getting pulled out. Wow, like there's a lot of stuff.
They put a fire alarm.
Yolana's getting stomped out on stage, like, and there's never really been a fight, which is insane. Like, there's only been that one time early on at Yolana's, and he was honestly doing too much, but
he just put the fire alarm for no reason.
Oh, the fire alarm situation, we don't know about that.
Oh yeah, somebody was this party dead. They were like, we did this.
It's just so many things you're juggling because you have all stakeholders as far as like the bar, then your attendees who you don't even know. They could bring drama, and you don't even have any control over that. So it's a lot of things. You just gotta be malleable. You gotta be flexible. You can't be too restricted. You gotta be loose. You gotta keep it moving. So
I think some moments that we may have had pressure with just like communication with the venue as well, like a misunderstanding between how many people could be on stage, for example, and then you're there.
That's a big like everyone trying to be on stage.
And they're freaking out like, why are so many people up here? They don't have wristbands, and not having a conversation of like order of operations, like before the event. Like if there's anybody who is like trying to do an event, make sure you have conversations about order of operations.
Right. And that just comes to relations and evaluating that. Maybe this is a bad jump. Maybe you shouldn't go to this venue again. If you start seeing that it's not as tight as it should be to your standards, then don't go.
Yeah.
A deal, okay, money's gonna come. Like you need to get your ducks in a row. Sure. You gotta make sure
somewhat.
Your crew gotta be solid. So that's
depending on where you are, somewhat.
Yeah.
So what's the next phase for y'all? What's something that y'all can't wait to show the world and show Philly that's happening next?
It's a good question. We do have a lot of things in the pot as of right now, and I'm cooking up. I don't want to speak on a lot of the collaborations that we have coming up very soon, but definitely a lot of exciting stuff. This summer we're hoping you'll be able to see function in places that you haven't seen it before. Even like experimenting with what you would call a venue or a space. Like we're definitely trying to move into new spaces,
different experiences.
Y'all can throw it right here.
I was gonna say, what does Philly want to see too, though, right? Drop it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah,
this is dope as well. Like this is totally an activation space.
A lot of people don't like driving out here though.
It's far.
Issue. Yeah, it's far.
Another factor that you got. You know what I mean? How far is it? Because that's another thing that
for sure
people just flake last minute. Like this shit's too far. Like we're not going out here.
Exactly. So some rapid fire questions for y'all. Dream venue to throw an event in.
In Philly or
in general?
Oh, in general?
Anywhere.
Damn, yo, I said it was
maybe
quick.
one. I know, damn. That's a hard question. The dream venue.
There's so many. For here, I could try to give you 2. For here, maybe I'll say dream venue for here could be
Four Seasons.
At the
Top of the job.
the four seasons will be
Divine the rain on the rooftop would be it's not possible, it's not safe. But that I thought would always be so sick. If it was somehow safe enough to get on top of the Divine the Rain, that would be sick. And what's that old Mad Decent Block Park? Remember, what's that venue? Right below the bridge. And they have venues over there, but there used to be one like right under the bridge.
like where they throw
Like it used to be closed down though.
Cherry Street Pier.
Is that where that was now?
I'm not sure.
Where Josh used to DJ at like 2 years ago.
No, I'm talking about way back, like the Mad Decent Block Parties and stuff used to be. Anyways, it was like right below the bridge though. That's obviously cool for Philly. And then we already did TLA. That was on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Because having your name on the marquees, I mean, that's cool. Like that's, you know what I mean? Not a lot of venues even have marquees anymore. So.
We just put out a pitch deck to somebody, but I would maybe say we put maybe FDR could be cool to do something there.
Yeah.
And then out here, like outside of Philly, it would be dope. We could do an event maybe elsewhere in New York. That could be
like MSG or something.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, crazy.
That'd be insane. The Garden would be wild.
That's on your bucket list, like 10 years, 15 years.
That'd be crazy. That might be too big of a venue for real. To keep the same experience.
But you don't know how big. Oh,
that's
true.
You know, it's like
all
a
about the
different
experience.
vibe.
It's all a
now.
different vibe. It's all a different vibe.
If we were to do something like that, like it would be more so show based, which is something that I definitely want us to try to. Yeah. Where I like as of right now, my mind is thinking in terms of like what else could function be able to put out that's not necessarily a function, but it's something like an event that we've just like curated by the function.
Yeah, and
like,
we've had a lot of concepts we're sitting on.
For
so
sure.
Hey, stay tuned. Like
for sure.
We can't speak on it too much.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
Most unexpected function memory.
Unexpected, you said?
Unexpected function memory. That maybe just like happened at an event.
Yeah. That you'll think about and talk about to this day.
I feel like when we were activating the app, like celebrities and shit would come. Like certain,
sure.
Like you'd be surprised who would come, and support us. I thought like at one point, Janae, like she almost, you know what I mean, like talking to management and like it's a security issue and stuff like that. But you'd be surprised with like who wants to come, and like that's like always a moment where it's like, damn, like this is cool that they even know about this. So those are fun moments.
There was a moment Kehlani almost popped out to one of
For
our events.
Oh, that's who it was, Kaylon. That's who it was. Yeah.
Kehlani almost popped out to one of our events. Let's see, another unexpected moment. Maybe like the music going out. Just like randomly, just like try to figure out like how to just like a technical difficulty. Okay. Probably a crazy unexpected moment.
But they're all unexpected though. That's what's funny. Like it's always new. It's like because you're dealing with so many different people.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's rare that happens, but maybe a situation like that, like, oh shit.
So for somebody that's watching this and thinking about starting their own brand, start throwing their own events or just their own movement in general, what's one thing that you guys could tell them to, get it started?
I would say start with what you're passionate about first. Like, I can't say that initially, like, throwing parties was definitely a place that I was like passionate in, but I think I found passion in just like seeing it grow and being able to really just like build something like out of nothing. I think when you start with something that comes from a place of passion, it won't feel like work. Just trying to continue to like push at it, like you'll continuously come back to it because it's something that you genuinely love to do. So I would say start with what comes from your heart first, and then there's no telling where it'll go afterwards if you just start from that place. Yeah,
I mean, for me, I think the loss of ego, like especially in this industry, is a lot of egos. I think keeping things like humble, right? Knowing your worth, but keeping it humble is, I think, the most important, like being a solid person, because at the end of the day, reputation take a lifetime to build and 10 seconds to destroy. So it's kind of like you really gotta relate. There's so much, wealth and like relationship. Like it's not, success is not really always monetary. You know what I'm saying? So being a solid person and keeping things humble, I think takes people a lot further than they think. You know what I'm saying? Like that's long lasting.
Yeah.
You know,
For sure. And maybe continue to be a student of the game.
That's a great one. Always learning.
Always learn. Like we're definitely like, even though we've been able to come to like really huge like heights for function, we're definitely not experts at all. I definitely would not call myself an expert in any way at all. Like a lot of this like happened by accident. But trial and error. But we're definitely students of the game. Like
I wouldn't even say by accident though. But but it's like
in terms of like
opportunity and readiness. You know what I'm saying?
I would say accident in terms of just like saying like, this is what we're gonna do.
Oh yeah. Facts.
Like
this is not what we planned.
This is not what we planned at all, for sure. So I would like, and because of that, I would say like we're still learning. We're still like, you know, trying to grow and trying to be able to elevate like from where we were before. Like we haven't reached the peak at all. We're continuously trying to build.
Well, that's amazing. You always got to keep growing, right? You can never know enough. You know.
Yeah. And have the ears open to get that information. A lot of people be thinking like that. You know, they too good for this too. But that's what I'm talking about, the ego stuff again. It blocks your blessings. It really does. Like it blocks opportunities when you move like that.
Yeah. People get ego and things like that like misunderstood as well. Like I think with your brand as well, you should know how to say no to certain things as well, and just like ask questions and really evaluate why you're doing something. For sure. Like
it's not all about the money.
It's not all about the money. You should always evaluate your decisions when it comes to building a brand, for sure, because you got to know what your trajectory is and where you're trying to go and why you're doing it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Rob, JB, I appreciate y'all pulling up.
Appreciate
keeping it real.
Man.
This was fun. Yeah, this wasn't just a conversation about events. It was about building, belonging, and being bold with your vision. Absolutely. And, you know, keeping it real as well. So if you're watching this and you felt inspired, subscribe, drop a comment, and go follow the function if you're not already tapped in. Where can everybody find you all at?
Function PHL on Instagram at functionphl, at functionphl.com. You can find me at John Alexander Brown on IG.
Roblim, ROBBLIM.
And y'all know where to find me. So this is Beyond the Brand with Mejire Arijaje. I thank you all, and I'll see y'all next time. And you're all good.
Appreciate it.